Hello and welcome to No Filter, a Nintendo podcast. I'm your host, Wizrad, and this is episode 6, recorded on January 2nd, 2018. Happy New Year, everybody. Hope you guys all had a fantastic 2017, had a great Christmas, holidays, New Year's, and 2018, I'm hoping to start off with a bang here with the podcast. I have a few cool little segments coming up here. I'm going to go over some news. I'm going to have a full review of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. On the podcast, and I have a nice segment at the end talking about my kind of history in games, and in fact one of my most recent purchases, a PS4, and my already very, very, very extensive library of games. So stay tuned for that, guys. Again, hopefully you guys had a great new year though. 2018, I was anticipating I'd probably start the podcast around then, but I really wanted to get the podcast out before this new year started. So hopefully 2018 means some good things for this podcast. I hope you guys do enjoy the content that I'm providing you guys here. I definitely enjoy talking about games, and hopefully in 2018 this is when we can start getting some guests and some guest hosts and stuff incorporated into this podcast as well, because we're all gamers, and talking about games is very important to me. Very fun for me to do, a great hobby to have. So I really do, again, appreciate you guys listening in and voicing anything that you have, any questions, any comments that you have for me to ponder over and possibly bring up in the podcast coming up. So, again, I just want to do a couple brief plugs here anyway. So again, if you guys are not aware, I have a Twitter at Wizrad, Wizrad. And again, if you have any questions, you want to email me at nofilter_wizrad@hotmail.com. And as soon as I start getting a little bit more questions, I can then start having some question segments in this in the podcast as well. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, let's get started off with the news. So 3 items here that I have that I wanted to bring up. One was the mystery Switch games that were posted on Amazon just recently. So I believe there was over 30, I think it was like 40 or 50 actually, but there were a whole bunch of placeholder games that were put on Amazon for pretty high prices. At least I believe these were meant for in the States, so that's a little high. There's a lot of games for $79.99, which is the price for a typical retail game in Canada. But there are also a lot for $99, and I believe some for more. So again, these are placeholders, so we don't want to speculate too much on these, but this could be correlating with the Nintendo Direct that we're all anticipating to happen very soon. I was hearing rumors that it would be happening around the 11th of January. I think Nintendo usually does these Directs on a Thursday or maybe a Tuesday. But yeah, so if that is in fact true, I will be having a podcast episode next week that will have predictions, and if it's after the Direct, maybe some reactions about the announcements, because I have some ideas of what they want to do here. I know in my last podcast episode you guys heard my thoughts of my predictions, but yeah, so that is very exciting though to see all these games here. I'm very interested in how Nintendo's going to approach 2018. I have a hard time seeing it, again, as you guys recall from last podcast, that I'm not exactly sure Nintendo can actually keep the entire hype and the momentum. Maybe they can keep the momentum, but the quality of games, I don't think any year can really match up what happened in 2017. 2017 for Sony and for Nintendo has been incredible. Microsoft maybe not so much, but yeah, guys, 2017 has been so incredible. I'm excited to see what they do in 2018, but I also know I have a huge backlog of games now, and a new system to play. So I have a lot of games to play still. So if 2018 is a little quieter, that's welcome in my book. Next bit of news. Enter the Gungeon, or Gungan, however you call it. Sells over $75,000. 75,000 units already on the eShop. So it's very nice to see that the eShop is so active with purchases here. I didn't buy the game. I've heard good things about it before. Honestly, I'm gonna wait for it to go on sale, because I've seen it on PS4 and stuff like that, and I think Steam for cheap. Well, cheaper than what it is on the Switch right now. So as soon as it starts dropping, yeah, I'll probably want to get that game. And owning a PS4, again, I'll get into the details of it later, but owning a PS4, a lot of these indie games that aren't exclusive, I'm definitely going to want to get on the Switch instead. The system's pretty much perfect for this kind of stuff. So I'm pretty excited to actually give that a try. Third and last bit of news I want to talk about here. The Switch has sold more than the PS2 in its first year in Japan. So I don't know if this was over the entire 12 months of the PS2 first year, or because right now the Switch is only at 10 months, not even. So just under 10 months, I believe. So yeah, if that is the case, then clearly Switch is doing very well. It is a handheld in the Japanese market, but we all know how much of a beast the PS2 was, and the fact that it was also, a cheap DVD player back in the day. It's kind of like what the PS3 was, where it was a cheap Blu-ray player when they had the Slim come out and stuff like that. Those are huge driving factors for these systems, especially it was for the PS2. So to see that the Switch is doing that well, compared to the PS2 is very nice to see. And, hopefully the Switch can continue this momentum going into 2018. Alright, so now I want to talk about a few of the games I have been playing recently. So, first game I wanted to talk about, again, I'll get into more detail of the PS4 stuff later, but I have been playing, NieR Automata. Finally, I've been looking forward to this, to play this game for a while. I got it on a Boxing Day sale for $29.99, which is a steal in my book. So, yeah, so far I'm enjoying it for sure. I'd be lying if I didn't say I was a little bit underwhelmed so far. I don't think I'm very long into it, but there are some things here, gameplay-wise and design-wise, that are not, they're not exactly the best things out there, at least the best that Platinum has done, in my opinion. But I'm not too far. I'm probably about 6-7 hours in right now, and I believe this is a bit of a longer game, like maybe 20 plus. So we'll see kind of where it takes me. I have been kind of going through. It is a little more open world than I imagined it would have been, and the worlds are a lot larger than, in my opinion, they should be. It seems, if you have to get from one destination to another, I actually did just unlock fast travel, but, the whole starting there and how far you have to travel to go to certain places, and you have to do all these side quests that have a very annoying kind of map system. It really kind of dragged the experience down a little bit, but but I don't want to be too negative because I am really enjoying it. I'm really looking forward to playing even more tonight, but it's the music is really good. It's maybe I haven't gotten to the crazy parts yet. The story is interesting, at least the concept so far. The story hasn't really picked up too much yet. It's interesting in that aspect. It's not what I was expecting. I'll say that. Even after hearing everyone saying how, crazy and interesting it is, it's not what I was expecting, but I do like the whole concept of the world and how it's kind of built upon, like these certain segments that they have throughout the game. It's pretty cool. The combat is pretty good. It's a little basic for a typical Platinum game, but they do have like the typical kind of dodge maneuver that they have in the Platinum games. That kind of, you dodge as soon as they're about to attack, and then you kind of like disintegrate, and then you appear on the other side, then you can keep attacking. It creates a good flow. I'm hoping to see the battle system get a little bit more in depth, kind of like a Bayonetta game. But I'm enjoying that so far as well. And and the atmosphere and everything, the locales, it's all very beautiful. It's very well, I guess maybe not designed, but the art is very cool. The environments are really unique. I really like what I've seen so far for that too. So again, I seem a little bit down on it now. Maybe my anticipations were very, very high, but I am definitely really enjoying the game, and I'm looking forward to go through the rest of it. So yeah, that's NieR Automata. The second game that I have been playing is The End is Nigh on Switch. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a huge Super Meat Boy fan. From back in the day when I first started getting into indie games, World of Goo is still one of my favorites of all time. I can't wait to find it for more of a sale on the Switch than just 10% off like it was over the holidays. I really enjoyed Super Meat Boy. The tight platforming, the unique way that you can kind of replay whenever you die or whatever, you'd see like copies of your past self and you'd be kind of going through the level. That was really fun, and I just loved how tight the controls were. It really seemed like a really hardcore, great platformer, very tough. And The End is Nigh, again, this is from the same creator, Edmund McMillan. I think he might have a different programmer, Tyler Glale. I don't think that's the same guy from like the indie movie that they had talking about Super Meat Boy. No, he's also the creator of Binding of Isaac, and that's another game I definitely have to buy as well at some point. Probably want to get it physical at some point if they have a bigger sale on it. The End is Nigh. It does have a lot of reminiscence to Super Meat Boy. There are some differences where you can't climb up walls like that unless there's like hooks that you can actually hang off on the wall. So it's more methodical and more designed, I guess, than Super Meat Boy. So it's a little more confined. You're not like jumping like screen to screen with this stuff. You have to hang off a ledge to get a little further of a jump. So it's a lot more, I guess, more puzzly at the same time as being more detailed in how you approach some of these puzzles and platforming designs that they've created. So I like that it does feel different, but it still has the same sort of feel as Super Meat Boy, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It's a great pick up and play game. I think it's perfect for the Switch. This isn't something that I've even thought about playing at dock yet. I will give it a go, but playing with the Joy-Cons, which by the way, the arrow buttons or whatever, I guess the arrow buttons on the left Joy-Con, those actually work extremely well for platformers. Like a lot of people were hating how it didn't have a D-pad. I think this might be like even better, not gonna lie. Like it gives you so much more control over it. With D-pad, there's always a little bit of error with when you're like, say you're just sliding your thumb from right to left or right to up or something like that. There's always a little bit of an error in between there where it might not be timing it perfectly, whereas this is, everything is defined pushes, and honestly I actually really like it. It's a lot better than using the Pro Controller D-pad, at least. I'm planning on getting an 8-bit Super Nintendo Pro Controller, I believe, Super NES Pro Controller, something like that. I'm planning on getting that because it is functioning with the Switch, so I will have a proper working D-pad. So I might give it a go with that as well. But again, the game so far I'm really enjoying it, and it's very good. I'd suggest it for anyone who likes good platforming games. Another game that is similar to this, if you guys like these type of platforming games, I'd highly suggest is Slime Son on the Switch eShop as well. Very much like this, very cool aesthetic, and it's a lot like End is Nigh and Super Meat Boy. It definitely take a lot of inspiration from those two games, which is very welcome to see. So the last game I want to talk about is actually going to be Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but I'm actually going to have that as a whole new segment itself, because I'm going to do a full review on Xenoblade Chronicles 2. But I'm not going to do much. I'm not going to do any spoilers. I want to give it a lot more time. I'll probably end up talking about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 maybe halfway through 2018, maybe a little earlier, and I'll actually go into full, more detailed spoilers about the story. Maybe after one of the DLCs is released, but I'll be doing a full review here in the next segment. So here is my Xenoblade Chronicles 2 review, my first review on No Filter, a Nintendo podcast. Here's some quick stats, I guess, from my playthrough. So my first playthrough took me about 117 hours to complete the game, which, I did do quite a few side quests. I didn't go nearly to complete them. I collected, I think I'm only missing 6 or 7 rare blades. And, I took I've took 3,595 screenshots while playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I love the screenshot feature in this. Throughout cutscenes, I'd be taking snaps whenever it looks cool. Whenever I see a different locale, I take snapshots of that. I take multiple different views, angles. I love the screenshot features in these games, and I'm looking forward to now going back through the Switch and literally combing over each one of those, removing the ones that aren't good or the ones that are duplicates, and just having a really nice little album of my playthrough of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And again, I love that feature of the Switch and how easy and quick it is here. So that's great. I really like that. When I first finished the game, I played it up till 3 a.m. on a weekday. Yes, that is crazy. So I got so hooked. I played right through. I figured I would be done around 10, but as is the course with Xenoblade games and usually big JRPGs like this, it just took you in at the end. You know, the story really just brought you right in. I said, you know what? If I have to get up at 6 tomorrow for work, whatever, it doesn't matter. I played right till 3 a.m. and I couldn't get back to bed until like 4 anyway. So I had like 2 hours of sleep that day. You know, not great, but my mind was still reeling about Xenoblade. So that was very cool. Got me really hooked. So yeah, let's get started with review. So presentation first. The visuals, I love the environments. The art looks fantastic. You know, the designs of the ships, the titans, the enemies. Everything is so good. It's, you know, this is Monolith Soft at its best. The environments especially, guys, you know, like the viewpoints you have, the landscapes that you can go over, the variety you have, it's so impressive. It looks so amazing, and I can't even, you know, I still can't. This is on a handheld, you know what I mean? It's insane to see this kind of stuff from Monolith Soft on a handheld like this, and it's so impressive. However, one thing that is a bit of an issue here, I think, is the inconsistency in some of the designs. This is mainly with the rare blades. You know, you'll see some blades are made from different artists, and it's a little jarring to see like one blade look completely different than the other, like a whole different like animation style or something like that, or an animate style. You know, it's kind of weird that they kind of kept it like that, but you know, that really isn't too big of a part in the game, because the part that you actually do pay attention to is it's all modeled, so you don't really notice much of a difference there anyway. So but yeah, the anime look that they have here, that's different than the past Xenoblade games. I think it's great. You know, the main cast looks fantastic with it. I think the faces are significantly better than the past Xenoblade games, and I feel like this might have been the best option for them to do it without having the same sort of uncanny valley kind of creepy looking faces that the other Xenoblade games had. Again, I didn't really care that the other ones had, you know, that the other games looked like that, but I think this one definitely is the best of the three, at least for the faces. In docked, the game looks great. My issue with the game, though, is when it is in portable, there is a significant resolution drop. I guess it is the dynamic resolution, and sometimes the resolution really drops low. And, you know, it's really not an issue for me. I'm really not a resolution snob. I'm not like one of those Digital Foundry sheep or whatever. But, you know, it did affect me in some way here, and this is notable. Because, you know, for example, I wanted to go to brand new areas when I had in the full resolution and full performance when it is docked. You know, I wanted to have the best experience for that and anything story related. So whenever I had portable, I would just do side quests in existing locales, or I would do, you know, I played Tiger or something like that. So it's, you know, that is a negative to take note of. It is very, it's kind of crazy that the resolution drops that much, and I hope that Monolith Soft does address it. But another issue it does have is frame rate at certain spots. Frame rate for the most part is pretty much solid. I think it's like a solid 30 kind of going through. You don't really see it too often, but there are some spots like in Gormott and stuff like that, when you go into like a heavily populated village or something like that, where you'll see it really start to chug. And how I'm seeing it, it seems like the game loads whenever you go to a different location. It, you know, at the first time it starts to load in all the textures, everything like that. But it seems like over time, the more different locations you go to, the more taxing it is on the system. So say, for example, you fast travel to Gormott directly. That's the first thing you go into as soon as you open up the game. It loads in quickly. There's like no issue. But if, say, you've traveled to 6 different titans or something like that before you go to Gormott, then you go to Gormott, it seems like maybe the system is keeping the loading of the past locales that you're in and really slowing down for this new one that you're just attending or something like that. I don't know, I could be totally wrong, but that seems how it is, because if I go to one of these towns with these spots right away, as soon as I turn on the game, I don't notice it at all. But then after, sometimes there's these huge delayed pop-ins of textures and even like full models that really it'll take like 5 seconds, like full 5 seconds for everything to pop in. It's really kind of jarring and really weird, and that should be fixed. The sound, my God, this soundtrack is so fucking good. I think this is probably the best Xenoblade Chronicles soundtrack. I know that's really crazy to think, but this is from the same composers who did Xenoblade Chronicles 1. And man, the battle music in this game is so good. and some of the locations, the environmental music. Oh God, guys, this is so good. I'm probably gonna play some for you right now. Actually, maybe have some in the background. The music mixed with the cutscenes though, like I love it when, say, like you're having like this epic battle. In chapter 4, for example, there's a really cool scene there. Again, I'm not going to spoil anything, but it times everything so well with the music. So the cutscene will have like a big turning point in like a battle, and then the music will cue in. It really mixes so well with the cutscenes, and it's just so damn epic. And again, the music is so good throughout this game. I can't say it enough. I've probably said it 3 or 4 times already. Just definitely take a listen. I can't wait for the whole soundtrack to come out. I got the sound selection with the special edition, but again, as soon as that whole soundtrack comes out, that's going right on my phone. I'm listening to that constantly. The voice acting, I'd say 90% of it is great. Malos and Pyra, for especially, they are really, really good voice actors for these. Rex, he's actually really good for the most part. He does not as cringy as one of the trailers where he was doing like a yell yeah kind of thing. He does have a few of those that are kind of cringy, but for the most part, he is actually really good. His voice is really good for his role. Nia, at first I was a little kind of taken aback, like, man, she has like a low voice for like this little cat looking girl. But after a while it does grow on you, and then you realize, yeah, you know what, this actually does work with her character. Zeke, he's great as well, and a lot of the blades are well done. There's a ton of different voices here, and I think it's very impressive stuff for what they did, and in probably a short amount of time, really, when you think about it. Again, I'd say 90% of it is really good. I'm not a voice acting snob. I'd rather have it being the English voice acting than Japanese any day, but I think for the most part this was actually really good. And don't take just from certain trailers where they have some crazy moments and try to extrapolate and say the whole game has bad voice acting. Absolutely fucking not. There are some certain things here that are annoying, but not really. Let's get on to gameplay. The battle system, while it does take a bit of time to get used to, it is so satisfying. At first when I was seeing trailers of it and they were explaining it, I was thinking, man, this battle system seems super slow, doesn't seem to work well. But again, after you kind of work through the game, you unlock all the different systems that they have included in it. This battle system is probably the best Xenoblade Chronicles battle system so far. I really, really liked it. So it's the best part about the whole thing is the whole flow of how it progresses through every battle. So as it progresses, it really works well. The incorporation of the break, topple, launch, and smash mechanic is so satisfying when you pull those off. But then when you layer that with the elemental damages or the timing of your button attacks or your positioning, you mix your auto attacks, you use your different affinities, you use your different aux cores and all that kind of stuff to really layer onto this battle system of the typical auto attacks at every certain interval. If you have a third auto attack in the combo, then you hit the special ability button at right the exact same time to cancel that, get that damage in, but then also use a special attack. But then you chain that with someone else's, and then by that time that they're finished doing their move, you change something else. The whole thing flows incredibly well once you get the battle system down. So, how I found I was kind of going through the battle system after, especially when you move in through the game, I'd say past maybe 20 hours, you're kind of playing through the battle system almost just to beat the enemies as quickly as possible, kind of a thing. So the better you are at the battle system, the faster the battles go, and the faster the battles go, the more satisfying it is, because you realize that, hey, I could be auto attacking this guy for 30 minutes, for 10 minutes or something like that, but I'd have to be healing myself constantly over and over again. Or I can chain all these together, then do a chain attack at the end, kill this guy when he has half his life left. I don't know, it's super satisfying to go through here, and the flow is what really makes this battle system work. Whereas the other games, you could see they were kind of hinting at a flow kind of thing like that, but this one really takes it to the end here, and really worked well. Not easy though. For this is clear that this here is for people that have played JRPGs before. It's not easy, and something that is a big negative is they don't allow you to review those battle the battle training techniques and anything like that. They give you the tutorial, and then they pretty much say, okay, there you go, do it. There's no way to go back and review the tutorials, which is just a stupid mistake. Why would they not include that? It's like, seriously, like their producer or whatever isn't actually looking over the game and thinking, yeah, we should probably give them an option to review all these again. It doesn't make any sense. They have these informants throughout some of the towns and stuff that allow you to review certain systems throughout the game, but it's not really the battle system tutorials. I had to go on the internet and look up some of these things that I forgot about. But again, I only had to do that once. I did get used to it. But again, I've played quite a few JRPGs in my time. I feel like if it was a younger gamer, it'd be a lot tougher. But, the more you put into it, the more you get out of it, kind of a thing. So that's fun. Another thing I want to bring up was Tiger. That was a really fun little game and a cool way to how you can upgrade Poppy. I guess how I should explain it is a lot of the blades have these affinity charts, which basically you equip, 3 blades on your character. So you have a character here, you equip a blade, then you're basically attacking with that person's blade. Then you can switch to another character, attack with that person's blade, and so on and so forth. You upgrade each character with affinities. So say you collect this amount of money, you collect this amount of hearts or anything like that, or you fulfill certain objectives, and then gives all these blades bonus attributes, bonus effects. Excuse me. You get like bonus effects for all of them, and then you kind of work towards just upgrading them, and then they get better and better. Poppy, she's Tora, Nopon's character's blade, and for that one you play a little mini game called Tiger, which is like, if it was on like, I don't know, like in arcades or an NES thing, it'd probably be a good game. It'd probably get really high score. It's actually a really fun game. It's interesting that they have this as the way to upgrade Poppy. This is the only way you can get upgrade points to upgrade Poppy. She's completely different than all the other blades. I'm not sure if it should be depending on that, because I feel like some people might not be good at that kind of a game, or might not want to play that, so it kind of limits their growth of a certain character if they don't want to play that different type of a game. But for me, I really liked it. I played it a ton, and it was really fun to upgrade Poppy through playing that game. The rest, a lot of the game has to do with exploration. I really like the exploration in these Xenoblade games. They have the collectibles kind of thrown around everywhere throughout the world, so whenever you walk somewhere, you always see another collectible in your eyesight that you want to go to collect. It really just drives you through the world and doesn't feel like you're really just trudging anywhere. There's always something that you see that you're going toward. So they really, Monolith Soft's masters at doing stuff like that, so it's really good to see. The main story missions, they're really good, but there are a lot of side missions, and they're decent, but they're not great. Xenoblade's never really had the craziest, really cool side missions, but there are some that are, the rare blade missions are really cool. They really show you more about the characters of each rare blade. Those are really fun to go through. There's heart to hearts, there's different sort of affinity missions and stuff like that that are really cool, and there are some side quests just for townsfolk that are really cool, but then there are some that are really just, hey, you got to collect this item, go find it. But my problem with that is that there is no like compendium or whatever that they had in Xenoblade Chronicles X, where you can know where or what you've already collected or where those items are, So a lot of the time it's like, man, do I have to like go on GameFAQs for this? Like, I don't want to have to search around for this thing forever. They don't give me like any heads up. They just say, oh, it's in More Ardain, go find it. I don't want to have to do that. There should be a better way that Monolith Soft can do this, and I feel like they've already dabbled in this with the other 2 games, but for some reason here they still haven't incorporated a system, and that's kind of frustrating. This is clearly an issue that it shouldn't be like this, and they should have been including this in these games, and again, it's omitted from this one, which is really disappointing. But yeah, that's kind of like a general overview of the gameplay. Again, I'm not going into crazy detail. It's more of my thoughts on it, and just kind of going over a little bit of it. I assume a lot of you guys have some overview of how Xenoblade games kind of work. And this is very similar to those in that kind of aspect of the exploration, but then obviously the battle system is a lot different. But yeah, let's get on to the story. So this is probably the best part, I think, about the game. The entire concept, the whole world, how they built this world and what it is, what everything's based off of. Absolutely love it. It is so good, people. The entire premise of the game, people living on Titans, in a cloud sea that surrounds this world tree that, it's an unreachable tree of unknown origin, but apparently it holds Elysium, which is like everybody's goal is they want to live in an Elysium, which is basically like a paradise, a utopia. And all these people that live on these Titans that are dying in the cloud sea, everyone's in struggle. This is one thing that you always look in the background of, say you're on any Titan, you look out into the sky, you're seeing this beautiful, like, green world, this tree that, looks like it's, thousands and thousands of miles high. You don't even know where it ends. And it's just so beautiful. The whole aspect of this whole premise of Elysium, the unknown that would solve all the world's problems, then they incorporate these story elements of like the Aegis of like, this is like the key to our freedom, this ultra being, and having that main goal to latch to. It's so great to see that there's always Elysium standing there behind you. And it's such a cool premise for a game here. I really, really loved it. I didn't think they'd be able to match up with the first Xenoblade of how cool it was that everyone was just living on these two massive Titans. This is right up there, people. I had no idea it would be this engrossing. I absolutely loved this concept. The characters, they're fantastic. These are the best of the three Xenoblade games. The most likable, the most personality, the most backstory. Super well done. Rex's motivation, his whole upbringing, so good. The Aegis, how everything's kind of built around this Aegis, and how there's Pyra/Mythra. I'm not going to go into anything more about the Aegis, but it's super cool. Nia, her backstory, who she is, what she does, everything like that, super cool. Zeke as well. Everybody, even more people. Everybody has a great backstory, and you really do care for the characters, and they play off each other so well here. Xenoblade Chronicles, the first one, they had a really good dynamic between Fiora, Ryan, and Shulk, and all that kind of stuff. This one, I think, is even better. It's really, really good. All of the heart-to-heart moments, they're very endearing, and the characters play off each other, again, very well. Tora, he's the Nopon in this game. He is the best of all of the Xenoblade games. He's the best Nopon. A lot of people don't like the Nopon. I actually really do like the Nopon, but I do get that some of them are pretty annoying. Ricky, in the first one, I really liked him. Ricky, the legendary hero with all of his kids, and, he's really funny. He was a really cool character. Tatsu, he was really just kind of annoying, but he was a funny character to have. But Tora is by far the best. He's actually smart. He's not just saying random annoying shit. He's funny. His whole backstory and everything around him is very cool. He's definitely the best written Nopon, and just the best Nopon, in my opinion, of all the Xenoblade games. Another thing about the story is I just like that they had no shame, no censorship. They just went all out anime at times. It worked well. They had the stories of love, friendship, revenge. What's like existentialism kind of a thing. Like, why are we created? What is this? It goes over the anime tropes. It goes over all these different things, but it works so well. Who are we as humans? It goes over that, like slavery. It has so many aspects that it kind of builds into the story, and it really, towards the end, it wraps up in such a nice bow. Like, this is definitely the best ending, in my opinion, for a Xenoblade Chronicles game. Let's just say I'd really like to see a sequel to this game, a direct sequel, much like I'd like to see a sequel to Xenoblade Chronicles, the original. Heck, even Xenoblade Chronicles X, it builds up so well, and then you really, really love these characters that I feel, they need to do some sort of a sequel, because, again, I don't want to spoil this, guys. At some point I will talk about it, but boy, is it so damn good. And to kind of round out here, I just want to do some thoughts, but there are quite a few negatives, and I just want to say that this is, again, you guys saw my top 10 list for 2017. This is one of my favorite games of the year. Is this better than the original Xenoblade or Xenoblade Chronicles X? I gotta give it some time to think, because in aspects, yes, it is better than both of those games, but in other aspects, no, it is not better than both of those games. I do have a whole list of negatives here that I did want to bring up, because it is really annoying to me, because I feel like a lot of this stuff is easily fixed, but it seems like either they were rushed and they couldn't complete it, or they just completely overlooked this stuff that there really is no excuse to look over. Let's go over these here quick. I don't want to be like too negative with it or anything, because, again, I absolutely adore this game. a must play for everybody, seriously. But there are some negatives here that, again, really does frustrate me, and I hope that in the next Xenoblade or the next Monolith Soft game they create, they look over this stuff, because all it is planning. I think, like, I just have a hard time seeing why some of this stuff would have been missed. Negatives. So the tutorials, they're not easily accessible. Again, I brought this up before, except through the informants. But again, that's not even the battle systems. Like why would they not have these tutorials accessible again? Like, are they seriously saying that the testers went through and they said, oh, we're fine, we didn't need to look over any of the tutorials again? Like, no one brought that up. This had to have been rushed, you know what I mean? The portable resolution, again, terrible. The pop-in after playing in lots of areas, again, very annoying. Really, you can just kind of shut off the system, but, you shouldn't have to be doing that kind of stuff. The lip sync, I didn't really care for it. After a while, I just got used to it, but it got pretty bad at times. How they did the English dub over the Japanese voices, right? So, a lot of the time the lip syncing wasn't good, and I feel like that might be what a lot of the people that are complaining about the voice acting actually have, is that it's just not synced very well. The frequency of getting rare blades. So a lot of the blades, you have to use rare crystal cores and stuff like that. It's basically a game of chance where you can then get either a common blade or a rare blade. And the rare blades drop is very, very stingy, I guess. You can go through dozens of cores and still not get a rare blade. But then all of a sudden it seems, just one time you use a common core and then all of a sudden you get this really rare blade that's awesome, I didn't mind it. I understand why they want to do that. I understand and I appreciate that. But I feel like maybe tone down a little bit, because right now I have like 5, again, I have like 5 or 6 rare blades I still need to go. I've just been collecting rare cores and legendary cores trying to unlock them, but just nothing's happening. It's like, do I really have to waste like 2 hours just trying to get a rare blade here? There should be some way you can bypass it, like, buy a core for a lot of money or something like that, so you can buy these, because it's very annoying when, like, you're completionists or whatever and you're playing through the game and you're literally just a game of chance that is not rolling your way. So it's kind of annoying. Some of the menus are pretty terrible. When they first released the game, they had the map system where basically there was no actual map. It was just a skip travel map, which was really, why? Like, I have no idea why they had to do that. In a lot of these games, I like to navigate and go through the map and see where I want to go to next based on the formation that I see on the map. But the skip travel map wasn't very useful for a lot of these things. Plus, you have to go through like 2 or 3 different steps to get to this map system. There's not just one button that you can go right to the map. It was very annoying to have. They fixed it in an update recently, but when it was released, how is that not addressed? That's why I keep thinking this game was definitely rushed. The battle system, it does take a little bit of time to get into it. There's tutorials still happening for the battle system, like 30 hours in. I think there's even a tutorial. This is more story based, but there's a tutorial way later on, like in the game, like after like 80 hours, there's still like a tutorial, which is like, whoa, I haven't seen one of those in like 50 hours of gameplay. You know what I mean? It's story based, so that's not really an issue, but the battle system does take a bit of time to get going, and during that time, when you don't have all the systems in place, some of the battles can drag on a little bit there, and that is a negative to have there for the first, maybe 10 hours of the game or something like that. The voices during the battles, they are, I'm sure you guys have seen the memes and stuff where it's like, you can't take me, don't forget me, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of voices going on in the battles. Every special attack you do, there's a voice that narrates around it. That does help you when you're playing the game, because you know what other move your allies are doing, so that you can time your moves correctly. But there is an option to remove and to lower the voices, which is, thank God they actually thought about that. If they didn't, that'd be stupid. Like, why not give all the options you can, But the option didn't seem to work only for that specific thing. It seemed like if I turned down the voices that were narrating the battles, it would also turn down the voices for like cutscenes or something like that, which was really frustrating. Like, just give us all the customization we need, that we want. You know what I mean? Like, that's probably not a tough thing to program. So that's one other thing. I wish they did have a compendium. Again, I brought that up before, so you can actually track the items. So when, say, you're doing side quest, you know exactly where you can find this item or the certain area that you can find it. In all, the small details that could have been easily addressed. All these things here, like, they don't really take away from the game too much or anything like that, but they are small details that I feel like could be easily addressed that they just didn't do. So, again, it seems like they had the big guys maybe working on this game at the startup, the concept and everything. They really kind of built maybe the battle system. They figured out how that was going to happen, but it seems maybe they gave that to like the second team or like, the B team after that to finish up the game, because there are a lot of rough edges throughout the game. The whole concept is great. The battle system is great. The world is beautiful. Everything is there. It just seems like I'm going to guarantee that Monolith Soft has a second team, and they probably finished off Xenoblade Chronicles 2, has a lot of these rough edges, and they're probably going to learn from it. Because I know that we've seen the concept art for that other project that Monolith Soft is working on, so I can see that that's probably what they did here. Had like the younger team kind of rush it after the main guys probably worked on it from the start. Yeah, you know what? That's my list of negatives. I know that a lot of you guys were interested in what my thoughts were about these things. I know Ecne Banjo, for example, you were talking to me about some of that stuff as well. But again, I don't want to end off the review like that. The actual game is so good, guys. It could be my favorite game of 2017. I don't know if it would beat out Breath of the Wild, but it just might beat out Odyssey. I just need some time to digest like I gave Odyssey. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I know it was very long. I think it's over 20 plus minutes. But, I hope you guys appreciate some of my thoughts about it. And hopefully, again, you guys give this game a go. Didn't want to spoil anything for you guys. Again, battle system's amazing. The world, the characters, the story, the music. Oh, so good. Yeah, see you guys in the next segment, where I'm going to be talking about my history in games over the last few years and my new pickups with PS4. And now it's time for Hot Matches, and this segment is going to be talking about my gaming story. So it's going to be talking about over the last, I'd say, 4 or 5 years of my gaming and where I am now and kind of my whole setup and how I'm going to be kind of gaming throughout 2018. So let's get started here. So I got my Wii U in June 2014. I loved having, so many games to buy right away. I got it a few years after, obviously, that it was released. So, I got Wonderful 101, Zombie U, New Super Mario Brothers. I had so many different games I could play right from the get-go. And, I really, really loved the Wii U. It did not live up to its potential, though, They had some great ideas, but Nintendo themselves didn't even follow through with some of this stuff. The asymmetrical gameplay. I was really looking forward to a big game following up with it, but I guess Nintendo noticed that the Wii U wasn't doing too well, and maybe they didn't want to invest all that money into something like that. I hope it's not just the industry and other gamers kind of convincing Nintendo, hey, don't innovate like this, because, we need this type of innovation in the industry, guys. And so many gamers are just so casual now. They don't want to have anything innovative. They just want to be able to sit down and play Call of Duty or something. And that kind of bums me out a little bit. But hopefully, Nintendo can do some stuff with the Switch, like HD Rumble and stuff like that. In fact, I'm probably going to have a segment about HD Rumble coming up soon in a next podcast. Yeah, anyway, after the Wii U or during the Wii U, I also had my 3DS on that side, and I also had my PS3, and I was getting heavy into some Steam stuff when it was, towards the end of school and university and stuff like that. So, I was getting pretty heavy into all those different systems. I made sure PS3, I was more just trying to complete all of my backlog of different games that I had so that I could get rid of it, which I actually did just in the last, when did I do that? Maybe 2 months ago, maybe a month ago, I sold my PS3 finally on Kijiji, got some good money back from that, and I'm selling my PS3 games right now. For me, I've always had more of my draw was with Nintendo games, so all of my Nintendo games that are very important to me, I'm keeping, but I have been selling the ones that aren't very good. So a lot of my collection for Wii games, for example, the ones that aren't, that don't have a good place in my heart, probably a good 30 of them I'm selling. But even though I did have 100, so, I still have like 70 games that I care about. But yeah, PS3, I didn't have as much of an attachment with a lot of them, so I'm selling all of them. But I also want to get rid of that so I could get my PS4. Anyway, how my plan for the PS4 was going to start was I was going to buy it at the end of 2016. But then I saw all the Switch commercials. I think it started in October. And then I saw that Persona 5 was getting delayed till later in 2017. So then I decided, you know what, I'm going to wait till next year on the Boxing Day. Then that's when I'd end up getting the PS4, and I'd just buy a Switch, which I ended up getting in May instead. So what I did is I didn't actually pre-order the Switch or anything. I just wanted to wait until it would come out in store and I'd find it. So yeah, that's what happened. So I ended up getting the Switch in May. I couldn't find one before that. They were sold out everywhere, and I was just very lucky at a Walmart one day where that was the last one. Someone was about to grab it right after I already grabbed it. It was pretty crazy the first few months of the Switch for sure, trying to find one in store. So before getting the PS4 and the Switch and everything like that, or while I was kind of waiting for the Switch, I was trying to complete my backlog of Wii U games and PS3 games. So again, I was trying to clear out for the Switch and the PS4, but a lot of the Wii games I've completed now. I have a few on eShop I still have to play that I've already bought. And I'm looking at Zelda The Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD, and Epic Mickey 2. So those are the 3 retail games on Wii U that I still have to play and go through, and a few eShop games. So as soon as I get those done, then I can pretty much pack away my Wii U, just save it somewhere, and for pickup later on. I'm trying to clear that out so that I just have 2 systems that I have to play along with PC is my PS4 and my Switch. So so I did want to go over some of the games I got recently. So with PS4, I got this on Boxing Day again. I got it in Canada. It was $319.99 for the PS4. It was at Costco actually. So PS4 with 2 DualShock controllers plus Uncharted Lost Legacy for $319.99, which is pretty good because the going sale was for Star Wars Battlefront 2 bundle for $299.99. Which I don't give a shit about Star Wars, nor do I want to buy anything with EA on it, really, for the most part. So, yeah, anyway, so what I ended up getting for PS4 was NieR Automata, which I talked about earlier. I just got Gravity Rush 2 the other day. I had Dishonored 2, Persona 5, and Uncharted Lost Legacy. I just got the PlayStation Plus trial for a month, so I actually just got Darksiders 2, Forma 8, Kung Fu Panda Showdown something, and Until Dawn Rush of Blood from PlayStation Plus, which is really cool. And basically what I did with that PlayStation plus I had a 20% discount code, plus there's these holiday sales, I decided to buy some games here that me and my brother could game share. So this is interesting here. So these are the games I bought to kind of support him, because I ended up getting over, he has a library of, like 60 games on his PS4. So I downloaded like 30 of his already. So I decided I'd buy some that he'd be interested, that I might be able to play as well. But here are the ones that I bought with the holiday sale with a 20% discount code plus the 15 or so % off with PlayStation Plus, which is really cool. So I got Madden NFL 18, NHL 18, Submerged, Gravity Rush Remastered, Undertale, Sniper Elite 4, Unravel, and Transistor. That was all with these sales, and the subtotal came to $360. I saved $250, so I paid just over $100 for all of those games, with all the saving $250. You know what I mean? So that is pretty damn cool. It was really cool to see that. So I got all those, but I did want to go over every one of these games I now have I have on PS4 that I will be probably talking with you guys over the next or pretty much all of 2018. Plus, there's a ton of games here, a lot that I've been looking forward to, and there's more that he has physical that I'll be borrowing from him. But these are all from Game Shares. So I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but well, you probably have. But on PS4, if you do something with your user, like you deactivate your user but then activate on someone else's system or something like that, you can basically share your game library with that other person. You just go into their profile on your PS4, download those games, go back onto your profile, they're downloaded onto your system, then you can play them there. It's really, really cool, and I have a massive log of games here that I can play now, which is really cool. So I have Abzu, Battlefield 1, Don't Starve, Dust and Elysian Tale, Entwined, Escape Plan. I did play Escape Plan a little bit on Vita. I never played through, but I did want to play the rest, and it was cool that it's on PS4. Firewatch, Gang Beasts, Gone Home, Grim Fandango, Helldivers, Infamous Second Son, which I've been looking forward to playing for a while. Inside, another one that I've been looking forward to play. Holy moly, guys. So many games. LA Noire Remastered. So my brother got this recently. I was going to buy this on Switch, but as soon as I saw that he had that as well, I still wanted to get it on Switch to give it a go. But you know what? If I got it free here, hey, LA Noire on Switch. I loved the game on Steam. I played on Steam a few years ago. But yeah, LA Noire here, so that's great. I got Life is Strange, which I've been looking forward to playing for a while. Little Nightmares, Matterfall, Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain, and Ground Zeroes. NBA 2K16, Nex Machina, which is a pretty good indie. Me and my brother played co-op with it. Ollie Ollie 2, Overcooked, Pumped BMX, Resogun, Secret Ponchos, Song of the Deep, Sound Shapes, Spelunky, Stick It to the Man, The Flame and the Flood. I bought that on Steam in a Humble Bundle recently, but I just don't want to, you know, after work, I don't want to come back and sit on my computer and play, you know, a game on a computer. You know, like that's the thing with me with PC games is I just need to get a Steam Link or something so I can play it on my couch. Yeah, so I got Flame in the Flood, The Swindle, The Unfinished Swan, Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition, which is awesome. Can't wait to play that. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands, Trials Fusion, Until Dawn, Valiant Hearts, Velocity 2X, and Zombie. So, guys, that is a huge list of games. I've had the PS4 for less than a week, and yeah, that is unreal. I'm so stoked to be able to play all these games. Other games I'm going to be borrowing from my brother, physical games. He has Horizon, which I can't wait to play. That's going to be probably after I'll play NieR first right now, then probably Persona 5, and then I'll play Horizon. So I got a packed first bit of 2018 here. Yeah, he has Horizon. I'm going to be playing Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. I'm a huge Uncharted fan, so I'm looking forward to playing A Thief's End. Then I can play Lost Legacy that I have downloaded. What other games he has? He has a few other ones. I'm going to be buying The Last Guardian at some point. I loved Eco, and I really liked Shadow of the Colossus as well, so I'll be playing Last Guardian at some point when I find it for cheap. What other games there's a few other games that I'll be playing as well, but there you go, guys. There is a huge list of PS4 games that I have basically for free. Shout outs to my brother. Thanks for letting me game share with you there. I hope you enjoy the games that I bought as well. We'll probably be playing NHL and Madden or something like that together soon. So very cool to see. Yeah, there it is, guys. So my gaming setup right now is I have my Wii U for Netflix because I love having a gamepad so I can move that. Say I'm doing dishes or something like that. I can move the gamepad to where I'm playing or where I'm doing dishes and just watch a Netflix show while I'm doing it. You know, it's really cool to have that. I can use Netflix on that. I have a Switch on my setup. I have my PS4 now. I have a whole bunch of games I'm trying to sell, but then I do have my 3DS, which I'm glad to see it getting a lot less releases. I do have a couple I want to get in 2018, like the new the Radiant Historia game and stuff like that. But I still have a big backlog of 3DS games I have to play too, and a few Vita games too. So I have a ton of games to play as a backlog. So I'm hoping 2018 isn't too packed with games. Although with PS4, it seems like there are going to be a ton. Spider-Man, God of War, a ton of this stuff. So. Yeah, you know what? I think that's pretty much it for that segment. I hope you guys enjoyed, hearing about my gaming story over the last little while and kind of where I'm at right now. Because, expect. I know this is a Nintendo podcast, but expect a few PS4 games kind of getting thrown in here as well. So, look forward to that. Yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you really enjoyed episode 6 of No Filter, a Nintendo podcast. Please leave in the comments any questions, anything you want to talk about. Leave me some of your thoughts about what you're going to be playing in 2018. Do you have a huge backlog from 2017 like me? I have a ton of Switch games I still have to play. Like, I've got Resident Evil Revelations, the dual pack I still have to play through. I have all these indie games I still have to play through in full because Xenoblade took up all my December. I still have to play Sonic Forces, finish End is Nigh. I have a ton of games I still have to play, guys. So I'd love to see what you guys have as well and see if you're as backlogged as I am right now. Yeah, again, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.